Hey everyone! So I was at Magic Kingdom today and I went to go do some speculating over at Frontierland. I kind of went at Rope Drop and I was hoping to do a couple things with Tiana's, but unfortunately that didn't open until the time I left. And Tom Sawyer Island, I cannot believe it doesn't open until 11 o'clock. That's like a huge chunk of the park that's like not opening until 11 o'clock, so I am very excited for Cars to take over that area. Now, as we know, at D23, lots of Magic Kingdom announcements, overall Walt Disney World announcements, which I was very surprised about. Of course, we know Monsters, Inc. over at Hollywood Studios is my personal favorite, but this is about Magic Kingdom right now. Magic Kingdom is getting Villains Land. 2 new car attractions in Frontierland as well, which is taking over Tom Sawyer Island and the River Belle, Rivers of America. And also, too, in 2025, a brand new nighttime parade called Disney's Starlight, and I am so excited for that. Very well overdue at the Magic Kingdom. We haven't had a nighttime parade in such a long time, but I figure with, all the things are kind of confirmed over there, it's just where are the placements going to go, so that's kind of why I figure let me go do a Magic Kingdom to speculate where I think certain things are going to go. Now, I was very surprised again to see Tom Sawyer Island not open until 11 o'clock. I was hoping to do that kind of towards Rope Drop just so it's not so hot, exploring the island and checking it out. So I'll have to go back another day and do that. But a very good friend of mine, you guys seen him in other of my videos, my really good friend Brandon, he is very, very into Villains Land, and I was like, he is the perfect person to do speculations with. Now, actually, funny story, one of his speculations was a train, but he'll discuss that more into his portion of the video. But as I was on the train today, his idea would, oh my god, be so spot on. Take off like all the, obviously the other like displays, animatronics and stuff from Frontierland through the next station and put villains over there. Like, just have villains displays and just like, there's just so much they could do. I think his train idea is spot on, but I'll let you guys see what he says in his portion. So, please welcome to the show, Brandon. After trying like a million times, we finally have Brandon on here.
Hi!
You gotta love technology, right? I mean, it's the best thing.
Technology. I can't even get my phone to work sometimes.
I love it, but I hate it.
Right.
We can't live without it. Alright, so you have been very invested in Villains Land.
I'm very invested at the moment.
And you have been sending us a lot of, I guess, your speculation.
A few, yes.
But I want to hear what you think, and I could insert a picture of what you're talking about in the video so everyone sees what you're talking about. So what are your speculations on this land?
So, not just Villains Land. There was already a thought that they were going to, start going through and readjusting everything. We already knew that. That was kind of in the plans.
Frontierland is getting a whole remakeover.
Frontierland, exactly. And
my other question is, too, is this still going to be called Frontierland with Tiana's cars and all that other stuff?
Well, and that's the thing that I'm very confused about, because Tiana, I feel like, yes, like, Deep South.
And Tiana is just two different ball games.
Exactly.
Cars Pixar, to be honest, like are they
the only thing that I feel like would make Cars work is if it's like, do you know the part in the movie where Mater?
A perfect name for a Disney movie madness area.
Oh my god, let's do it. Do you know the part in Cars where Mater's doing all of his tricks? He's flipping backwards, forwards, the whole nine. I
can't believe I'm saying this, but I only saw Cars one time, and I'm not like a big movie nerd.
What?
You know this already. You know this.
True. But then
let's get into your speculation with villains.
Right, and so when they were already talking about readjusting everything. The statement that was commonly used was beyond Big Thunder Mountain, beyond Big Thunder Mountain, beyond Big Thunder Mountain.
The ones that you made a speculation picture of.
Yep.
That's and so with the shadows and stuff.
Yep.
That's and so video right now.
There's as you can see on the map, hold on. I got to pull it up on my end. That way I know what I'm looking at, because I doodle on it all the time. I'll find different things and I'll doodle on it all the time.
I was doing that today a lot too with the other lands, which is going to be talked about later in this video.
Yep. And so when I sent Rich like pictures, like eons ago. I'm like, Villain's Land. It's a lost opportunity. It's something they really need to look into. And a long time ago, I started doodling, what I would have thought Villain's Land would have been.
But now that we have the whole setup, what do you think is going to be in there?
So that's the thing. If you look at the picture, I already started it kind of behind Big Thunder Mountain, and it'll wrap around the back end of the park. That was the whole thing they kept saying, around the back end of the park. Cool. But because Villains it's almost all encompassing, it's really hard to determine whether or not it's going to be huge or only a portion. And it seems really silly to not include quite a lot of stuff in there. And so if you look on the map.
After we're done talking about your speculations, there's one thing I want to bring up at the end.
Oh, okay.
So you go on with yours. That's what this is about.
But stop. But when you look at this, what I would call the land proposal.
So the land before time.
Basically. But when you look at it, my thought process was, okay, maybe they're going to expand the railroad line. They already did it in Disneyland. When they did Galaxy's Edge, they rerouted the train to accommodate for that. We've seen it with Tron. They rerouted the train through the tunnel to accommodate for Tron. So I always thought that they'd push the train line out. Not only is it an attraction, but in some regards, they use it as transportation between, the quadrants of the park. And so I always thought they would push the track out and put a station back there. And, there's a couple of rivers or creeks back there, put a bridge over it, kind of like they do going into Frontierland, that type of thing. And then, Rich will show you, I literally was like, wait a second. Massive mountain, cliffside, the whole nine. What if we put this train station in a cave? Like, in a cave. And the station is labeled. And on the map that you're going to see, it's kind of hard to see it, but there's 2 different shades of blue. And so I basically made an elevation map. And I'm thinking, okay, coming from behind Big Thunder Mountain, I'm thinking like barren, like desert type, like the gorge, like Elephant Graveyard, going into this rocky mountain face and the cliffside, and we're under the cliff pulling into the station. I'm like, that would be amazing. But when you look at the pictures, it's really hard to determine. Yes, the concept art, it's really hard to determine just how big it's going to be, because, and you'll see where I circled it out.
As we're talking about that, I want to insert a picture of what I did with my speculation real fast. What I think the land layout is going to be. That's what I think. But you have yours as well.
I do. And then when you look at the concept art, the concept art that they released, you see anywhere from 2 to 3 castles in the image. If we're able to put my picture up here, number one, I have a very strong feeling.
One of them is mine.
Huh?
One of them is mine, right?
It gets to be yours, absolutely.
What do you think?
number one, I believe, is Maleficent, and it has to be.
She's the very top leader of all villains.
Well, not only that, but if you look,
Hades, I feel like, are like.
Yeah. And if you look in the concept art, she's already there. Number 2, which is on the right side, a lot of people didn't realize that there was some kind of structure or castle there. 2, I can't figure out who that may be, but I'm thinking maybe Queen of Hearts, something like that. And then number 3, I can't determine if it's Rock Face or if it's another castle, like a smaller one.
Cave.
Huh?
Scar's Cave?
Maybe, but Scar's going to be more
to put the Lion King log flume right in that land eventually.
Right, and so then you look at it, and number 3, it almost shares the same shape and colors as the Evil Queen's castle. And so,
as much as you do, so I figure you're the perfect person for
like
this.
I'm looking at these details, and it's not. You don't get to zoom in very far, and Rich will tell you, a few of us have been talking about it, and someone just brought it to my attention.
A lot since D23.
Yeah, and so there's a chunk at the bottom of that image. I didn't circle it, but someone else circled it for me, and they think that may be Hades area down at the bottom, right before you get to the thorns and everything like that.
Yes.
It's got to be, and it seems like it would be a lost opportunity to not include all of these villains that we've grown to love over the years. And I lost it yesterday. I was talking to everyone and I'm like, wait a minute, what if Scar actually gets to make an appearance? Like a meet and greet.
Like if he does, it would be a puppet controlled character, like BB-8 or like either automatically controlled or puppet controlled.
Very, very similar to Festival of the Lion King, except we'll put him.
It could be like how Mike Wazowski is, maybe like a really small costume, like a, you know.
And I said, we'll put him up on his own little cliff perch. Scar, I'm thinking, you know, somewhere in the land, you know, put him on his little rock face perch, you know, backlight with green lights. And I'm just
see that happening like Super Nintendo World has and over at Fairlands. Like they have the figures out there just like they can have Scar like looking and patrolling.
Right. And so cool. there's that. Or if he's gonna be interactive, I'm just imagining, you know, 10 foot cliffside or whatever. He's up there, but he's looking down at you, and he's, you know, he's going to have his insults. He's going to have his things to say. But if you're going to do that, that would be best over, like in the first image, my layout, that would be over in the elephant graveyard, the barren wasteland, that type of thing.
And stuff too.
Exactly, the Shadowland. But the reality is,
speaking of that, get Dr. Facilier in there.
Yes.
And then he could be looking over the bayou and be like, I wish I was on that ride. Right.
But that's the thing, because it's so late in the game, it's very technologically advanced. I feel like there's so much room for opportunity. But the question is then, where are they going to start to put everything? Because all of these villains, you know, at Disneyland, you're going to quite often see them roaming with the characters, whatnot, what have you. At Disney World, they kind of have their own area. And so now that Villains Land is going to be a thing, we have no choice but to put them in their own respective areas.
Now, I want to get into the rides. I'm hearing one is a roller coaster, one's a dark ride, as a rumor.
So I think it was supposed to be, 2 major rides, 1 minor attraction, and then a restaurant or something like that?
I'm hearing, shopping, dining, and 2 attractions, which I'm hearing is a roller coaster and a dark ride.
And so I'm very curious, because if you look at the concept art where it marked out the castles, on the left side, even though it looks like nothing but a bunch of thorns and everything, it looks like there's tracks made out of those thorns and those vines. And I'm like, okay, what kind of chaos are we going to get into here?
I think the dark ride should be a tribute to Snow White's Scary Adventures, with all the villains on that type of ride.
Yes.
Like a little tribute like that type of ride.
But there was also rumors that it's going to be something like Nightmare related, like Boogie Boogie, something.
I don't hate Nightmare, but I just don't think that it should get its own ride. I feel like it has to be a mix with all the villains.
And so when you think about it, I guess the only thing that really pulls everything together would be Once Upon a Time. And I don't even know, you know, to what degree how accurate that is across the land. And so it makes you wonder, are they going to separate everything and kind of segment it, or are they going to just kind of let it come together and it's just, you know?
I wonder what the roller coaster is going to be like. Like if it's going to be like a family style coaster, like Slinky and stuff like that, and just make it it's family friendly, but also with the villains. I feel like that the roller coaster has to have audio on it, like villains music.
Yeah, of course. And it would be anything but, you know, not logical. It has to be done that you would have to do something like that. You know, and when you think about it, Guardians, Cosmic Rewind, they've got like different what do you call them? Different song loops. You've got the Mission Breakout over in Disneyland.
You get a different villain song.
Exactly. And so I'm wondering if something like that would happen.
Speculation, nothing is set in stone.
Yep. And I'm wondering if something like that would happen. That seems like a good way to really encompass everybody and give them their own storylines, and each one's different.
Also, too, how are meet and greets going to happen in that land? That's going to be chaotic.
You think so?
Oh, God, they're villains, of course. Everyone loves the Disney villains. I mean, this could be chaotic if there's meet and greets.
And as much as I want to see it, I have a very strong feeling that I'm going to have to wait quite some time before I go see it. It's going to be very busy. It's going to be very packed People have been asking for villains for years.
But if you think about it, everyone says they wanted Monsters Inc. for such a long time. They wanted villains for such a long time. Imagine they built this 10 years ago without the technology they have today. It's going to be more advanced. And it was worth the wait because the technology and the advancements, like, it's going to be better.
But can we talk about the concept art, though? Like the colors, the water. I'm just imagining fog floating over the water. The rock, the very, like, I'm thinking very dark rock faces, stuff like that. And so in the land layout that I was kind of proposing, I was thinking bridges, something to cross. There's a creek or a river back there. I don't know what they plan on doing with that.
I think also what Villains Land should have is continuously cavalcades with the villains.
Yes. And so you've got that. And I'm thinking as you're coming back from behind Fantasyland and from Frontierland, you know, everything starts getting, from Frontierland side, everything gets kind of dry. Again, speculation. We're not going to know until they say something, but gets kind of dry, gets kind of barren, lots of vines and thorns, but, you know, dead, dried out. And it fades into those, like, very dark, like the darker trees, the darker bushes, all of this just kind of, you walk in, similar to the Adventureland facade, the gate, the archway. It flows together, obviously, but it's very different. But if they don't have meet and greets with all of them, I'm going to be very, very, very bummed.
That might be a not so scary thing that they have all of them together.
That would be cool. Mm-hmm. That would be cool. But then here's the next question, and I didn't even think about this. With all of this remodel going on, Festival of Fantasy, if they remodel everything, is it going to keep the same routing? Is it going to start branching through?
Because it'll start behind Splashgate and go down Main Street.
But that's the question, though. Do you think they're going to branch it into... Hello! Do you think they're going to branch it into Villains Land and bring it around and through the park that way?
No way.
You don't think so?
Are you going to come over here or what? Because I want to get this video.
All of it's speculation, but I'm excited regardless. It's something that's been very much overdue. It's huge. It's a big deal.
All the input. I really appreciate it.
Good luck.
Have fun at work.
Always.
I'll talk to you later.
Yep.
Bye.
Weren't his ideas phenomenal? Like, he is so invested in this new land, and he was the perfect person to ask for speculations. I just didn't know if I wanted to do a speculations video over at Magic Kingdom, just because, again, most things were concrete and, you know, official, because they say Villains is going behind Big Thunder. Still potentially a rumor, but I think that's more towards official. And also to 2 Cars attractions going where Tom Sawyer Island is in Rivers of America, so I'm very excited for the future. I cannot wait for Frontierland to be finished. They haven't really announced a date yet, but they're saying construction starts next year, I believe. Alright, so there you have it. This video is done. I will see you guys in the next one.